Booth University College is an expression of Salvation Army ministry that began in 1981, but the idea of a Salvation Army University goes back much further. Salvation Army founder William Booth even spoke of a university for the Salvation Army. In 1890, William Booth published a manifesto regarding a grand scheme to cure humanity's social ills titled In Darkest England and the Way Out. It contained the seed of a plan to collect and disseminate knowledge on global humanitarian endeavor so that the Salvation Army could advance worldwide efforts to alleviate poverty and empower the disenfranchised. At the turn of the 20th century, Booth wanted to solve the problem of a lack of cooperation and of centralized knowledge about the effectiveness of humanitarian efforts. Neither world governments nor private organizations had adequately collected information on demographics and best practices. He proposed that the Salvation Army create an intelligence department for the collection and dissemination of practical knowledge about how to solve the world's problems. The book refers to it as, quote, a kind of university in which the accumulated experiences of the human race will be amassed, digested, and rendered available to the humblest toiler in the great work of social reform. William Booth articulated his vision more fully in 1903 when he published his proposal for a university, a world university for the cultivation of the science of humanity in connection with the Salvation Army. Within the proposal, he also identified another problem he wished to solve: lack of access to worthwhile education among the poor. To him, a world university of humanity might have basically meant a centralized global training institution for evangelistic and humanitarian knowledge and practice in the Salvation Army. He envisioned training Salvation Army personnel all over the world, both clergy and laity, for all facets of service. Booth's successors modified his initial vision in several ways due to historical circumstances. Salvation Army leaders would later invoke Booth's vision of a university of humanity, and they made two main changes, raising the question to what extent are these more recent expressions consistent with the founder's vision. The first change was structural. After World War I, the founder's son, General Bramwell Booth, implemented modest portions of his father's grand vision. Rather than an integrated global network of learning institutions, Bramwell Booth developed regional colleges in London, New York, Chicago, and elsewhere for training Salvation Army clergy. Leaders regarded these colleges as fulfilling the founder's vision. The second change was demographic. Whereas Booth's World University of Humanity envisioned a network of training institutions for Salvation Army workers, Booth University College opened its enrollment to non-Salvationists from its beginning in 1981. Salvation Army leaders have sometimes seen their endeavors within the scope of William Booth's vision of a University of Humanity. Critical questions remain. In what ways and to what extent do these expressions fulfill the founder's vision? How do circumstances such as war, globalization, decolonization, pluralism, and technology facilitate or challenge the vision's viability? Please join us for a panel discussion about how Booth University College fits into the founder's vision of a University of Humanity. 11:15 a.m. Central, Wednesday, February 7, 2024. Visit boothuc.ca for more information.